Hey everybody, Brandon from Side by Side here. Just want to let you know a little note before the show begins. We did have some technical difficulties on this episode, but we were able to complete it and do everything, so hope you enjoy. Sorry again for the technical difficulties, but as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know feedback in the comments and any topics you might want explored in the future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And without further ado, bring you Side by Side. And welcome to the show. Here we are, Side by Side, with Brandon, Rizzo, and Dimari Swanagain. How you doing today, my man?
Good, bro. How you feeling?
Good, very good. Here at Side by Side shows a little bit about creating unity through diversity, and we do that by bringing different guests on every week. We try to host a little conversation to, enlighten minds one question at a time, but allow people to share their perspectives, their stories. We ask thoughtful questions. And so we're looking forward to today with our two guests here. We're going to bring on in a second. We got Frances McAda and Shontae Scott in the house. Say hi, everybody.
What's up?
Hello.
So, Dimari, what are you excited about right now, my man?
Bro, honestly, I just been thinking about this show all week, bro. I'm like, yo, I met them a while back, maybe like a month ago, I guess, just haphazardly. I was with Shontae hanging out, met Frances, and we just had a really cool conversation. And I was like, yo, I get geeked, bro. I'm like, hey, you got to come on the show. You got to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'd be turned up, bro. So they're here. I'm excited.
We have
bro.
a term for the way we refer to when Damari's in that state of just like on 10, and it's wild boys.
Wild boys.
Hell yeah.
Hey.
He's being a wild boy.
Hey, and I can get wild. But look, what are you excited about?
Oh, man, I'm going to Europe in about a week from Saturday, so I'm really stoked. Going to London, Paris, and Amsterdam for the first time.
Nice. Are you gonna get high?
I'm probably going to get high in Amsterdam.
What?
Yeah.
Probably. That's the
Yeah,
operative
it depends, It depends. Depends
gonna-
on what we're doing.
Go to the red light district?
I'm like more for this, at least this trip. I really want to do a lot of sightseeing and visiting like museums and that kind of stuff. So
Are you going to the red light district?
I'm going with
Are
my
you
wife.
buying?
I'm not
this
going to
could be a couples retreat.
No,
bro.
we're not that kind of couple.
Nah? Not the 2022 type of couple. All right, bro.
No, we're not going to hit the red light.
Are you
district.
gonna hit up?
We'll probably
John?
walk past it though. If it's still going. I thought COVID killed it.
COVID can never kill prostitution.
This is true. The clap couldn't kill prostitution.
That's right.
Oh man.
You gonna hit up John?
I am gonna hit up John.
Yeah, so we got a buddy, John. My buddy, John, he lives in London, and I really want them to meet because he's my buddy, John. I pretty much see, I don't know, at this point, every 4 or 5 years. He's actually coming to Austin, but he's going to be here during your birthday weekend, but you won't be here.
Yeah.
So you should meet in London then.
For sure. We will. We will. We'll do that.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's bring on the guests.
Yeah.
So, Frances McAda, Shontae Scott, thanks for coming on today. We really appreciate you. I guess we just want to start by getting to know you all better. So, I guess I'll throw it to, what'd you say?
What are they excited about?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. We'll throw it to you guys. Tell us a little bit about your backgrounds, like whatever you want to share, and then what are you excited about right now? We'll start with Frances.
I am from New Orleans originally, like a small town right outside of New Orleans. Moved to Texas 7 years ago and have just been here since, just creating a life for myself and, just kind of, doing the whole life thing and, bettering myself. And, I have a trip coming up next weekend. I'm going to Alabama to go spend some family time, with everybody. And just excited for the summer to come around. I'm so sick of this cold. I've never hated cold more than I have this year.
Yeah.
It's 82 degrees outside.
Right now.
Right now. Tomorrow it could be snowing, or tornado, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's
You
true.
were near the tornado when it happened, right?
I was literally in the streets, bro.
Yeah.
It was it was happening. I had no idea what was happening.
It literally hit right across the street from where I live. like our apartments were cool and everything, but it was like I came home and I'm like, okay, well, none of this, everything's gone, you know, like what the fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So, Francis, what do you do for a living, and tell us a little bit more about your background.
I bartend for a living. I've been doing it since I moved to Texas pretty much. I really love it. I love, like, you know, helping people out. I think that I'm definitely trying to get out of the service industry, though, at some point. I feel like, so I actually became sober like 10 months ago.
Congrats.
Thank you. So that's, yeah, thank you.
I'll
That's
drink to that.
Hell yes, brother. Let's go. You can do that. I'll live vicariously through you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been honestly like a game changer. Like it's really put things into perspective for me, like what I appreciate and what is like important in life. You know, like I was just wilding out like for so long, for like years, and it was like super bad. And I was like working my ass off, and I had nothing to show for what I was doing except for a hangover. You know what I mean? So, kind of had to like,
#wow girls.
yeah. Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
So easy to get into that cycle, especially when you bartend and like all of your friends are bartenders and you know everybody at the bars next to you. And it's just such like the culture. So yeah, that's been definitely like the most major thing I would say that's going on in my life right now, which
yeah, I definitely like bartended for a quick second. Not bartended, I was a bar back actually. Yo, the service industry is a wild environment, and it's like super cliquey. It's like if you don't hang out with them, they get mad.
Yeah.
I got fired because I didn't want to hang out with them anymore. I was like, yo, I'm making so much money. Why are we giving it away after we literally just left the bar where we were already drinking?
Yeah.
And they're like, we got to go service the after hours people. What? What are you talking about? So what do you want to do next then?
I mean, honestly, like my goal is to, I kind of like, I have a few things that I would like to do like with my life or interests that I really enjoy. So I'm just kind of like deciding where my niche is going to be at in those things, you know. I really love food. I really love health and fitness, you know, which those two are industries that are forever growing, and you'll always have a job in that. I just don't know what I want to do necessarily with that yet. So hopefully my goal is to utilize being sober and like pushing out that message and like helping other people that are in the same boat as me, or that have been in, you know, that want to be in recovery but just don't know how to, like, you know, that's the ultimate goal, is to spread my message around like, hey, I'm around this shit all day every day and I can still stay sober. You can definitely do it, you know.
Yeah, that definitely, that's amazing. And Shontae, a little bit about you. What's your story? Where do you come from? What background?
Alrighty. So I'm from Gautier, Mississippi. It's near New Orleans. I know, right? That was the thing when we met. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like right there by New Orleans, girl. I'm like 30 minutes away. Right now I work for LegalZoom. I hate it. Yeah, I'm in a process of finding a new job.
What you don't know is the CEO actually loves our podcast.
Behavior analyst. And so hopefully I have like a mini interview tomorrow for that job, so hopefully I can get it. I'm in school right now for accounting, but I hate that too. I'm kind of like you, Francis. I'm trying to figure it out, see what I like, see what I love, because I do not stick around if I hate something. I will move on to the next. I love to travel. I like to shop, and I love food.
Nice.
Those are nice things.
Food is everything to me. I love to cook.
What's what a signature dish that you make?
You said my favorite dish?
No, like a signature that you like to cook. Is there something you like, this is my thing that I like to make for everybody?
I'm kind of good at a lot of dishes, so I'll say soul food, all around soul food.
Nice.
I see Frances nodding her head like, yeah, that's the business. So wait, where are you from? What's it called? Can you spell it?
Gautier.
No one knows
Gautier.
this place.
Gautier?
Spell it, Brandon.
Gautier, I'm going to try. I've
Go
never heard
get
of
it, bro, because when I saw it, I said,
I'm
what?
going to give you a hint. It's French.
Okay, so probably Gulsha. No. Way off.
Wait, no, you were close with the G.
I was thinking maybe the like the L was like silent or something.
No, it's a crazy place. So you guys grew up near each other, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, like 45 minutes from New Orleans, depending on where you at.
Yeah.
Or an hour.
An hour, because like I'm from Slidell, so that's like 30 minutes south of New Orleans, but it's on the north shore, so like probably an hour.
Okay. So like what was that like growing up in Gautier, Mississippi?
Boring.
Yeah?
Nothing's there. But we have like a dirty beach and all the casinos. So tourists like to come down to come to the casinos, but you know when you're younger, you can't get in. You get older, you move away, go to college. So.
Yeah, and you never go back, so you can't try it out. I was in Lake Charles, and we stayed at the Golden Nugget Casino when we were doing a road trip.
Yeah.
I was like fascinated. It was just like because I'd never been to Lake Charles, and then you just like drive in at night, and it's like you can't really see anything because it doesn't really have a skyline, but all you can see is the casinos. There's like 2 or 3 of them, and they just like stick out.
So everyone's just like gambling and drinking.
Pretty much.
That's what's going on in Gautier and Slidell. You said it's called?
Slidell, baby.
All right. So like, what's happening? Like, I mean, this is a small town. What's the population of Slidell? What's the population of Gautier?
I think it was like 28,000. So like it's pretty small, but all like drive. It takes like 50 to get from one end of the town to the other. You know.
We stay open later than Austin.
Yeah.
You stay open later than Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin vibe is a new thing. Closing at 2? No.
Oh, so Gautier and Slidell is lit then.
Well, we go to other cities. Gautier don't have no clubs and bars. We'll go to like Biloxi. Or Gaultier or Morris Point.
And then how far is Biloxi from Gautier?
Like 25, maybe 30.
Okay. And then Francis, where would you hang out? Francis, you're going in and out for some reason.
Yeah.
We're not getting your audio yet.
Are you connected to headphones?
No, I'm.
Do you have some handy?
Yeah, I'm not sure. She's going in and out. Could you hear her, Shontae?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I didn't know if we were. I was like, is it us? Hey, it happens in real time. So in Gautier, you're hanging out in Biloxi. How old do you have to be to go to a casino?
To go to casino, it doesn't matter. But actually to gamble, 21.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to like the clubs, you will have to be 18 or 21, depending on where the club is located in the casino. Because some of them you have to actually go through the gambling area to get to the club. And if you don't have an escort, it's like, nah.
Yeah. So what brought you all to Austin then? Was it just simply like change of life, change of scenery, or did you actually come here for something specific? Start with you, Shontae.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, change of scenery.
For me, it was. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, for me, it was an ex-boyfriend. We were dating for about a year back home, and then he decided to move up here to be with his friends and pursue a better career option. And I was like, this is definitely like my way out of small town Slidell, So I was like, either way, no matter what happens between me and him, I feel like I would love to start my life regardless. I was only 18 when I moved up here. So I kind of just started my life, at 18 and been here since,
And when did y'all break up?
I think probably 3 years after moving to Texas, 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow. And were y'all living together? What'd you say?
I said the whole time that we were living in Texas, we lived together.
Wow. Moving for love.
Still live together now?
No, he was my first relationship. ever. So we dated for like 5 years, and then yeah, we're not together anymore. I'm with my current boyfriend, who's amazing. But yeah, I learned a lot from my previous relationship. Like he taught me a lot, regardless of how it ended. So
Yeah, that's something that we like to talk about on the show. Is relationships is one of the main topics. So let's dig into that.
We love it. We love relationships. So I just kind of want to shift to Shontae for a second, right? So Shontae, are you dating? Are you single? What are you doing with your life right now?
I'm single. I'm dating.
Single and
That's what I'm
dating.
doing.
What is that? What's that like? What's it like dating in Austin? Because y'all just hated on Austin. Everybody watching, like, we're in Austin, Texas. They literally just said the towns that you never heard of in your life are better than Austin. So I need to go to Gautier and Slidell.
That's hometown pride right there.
Hey, that's respect, right?
It was
yeah,
better. I just say we stay open late.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So what's that like? Like, you out here, you dating, you're beautiful. What's going on in the dating world in 2022 in Austin, Texas?
Scarce.
Ooh.
I haven't met too many guys out here. Not really my type, most of them. I don't want to offend anyone.
Do it.
Please offend them.
Do it.
Caucasian.
Yes, a lot of white guys.
It's a lot
Say
of
it.
Caucasian and Hispanic.
Yep.
I'm kind of looking for a black man.
Yeah,
For
they're
sure,
not
for
in
sure.
Austin. I think it's just like me and the doorman I saw. I think it's just us.
We are on the east side now.
We are on the east side, so yeah.
I feel like when I was like dating around in Austin, like it's definitely like, I don't know, like I tell people all the time, like I'm like, don't ever bring somebody to a bar on a first date, because you're already like gonna be drinking, so your perception of this person is gonna be way different when y'all are drinking than when you are sober. So it's like, I feel like that's where people falter a lot of times, because it's like, oh, well, I don't really, a couple weeks go by and you're like, I don't actually really vibe with this person, and I'm like, well, y'all have been fucked up since y'all met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a bar is a great opportunity for like a hookup night or something like that. But if you're trying to find somebody to date, you don't want to go to the bar, I don't think. But what do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm not really trying to find anybody.
True.
So I don't know. But it's interesting, right? So, but we never got to like why Shontae came to Austin.
Oh, yeah, we did not.
She just said she came here for what? Why? Huh?
A new scene.
A new scene, but there's so many scenes that. Why Austin?
Well, originally when I first moved to Texas, back to Texas, I was staying in Killeen. I had a cousin there, and it was cheaper. We were roommates, and then he got stationed in El Paso, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get my own place. I was working in Austin. I didn't know if we had to go back to the office or not, so I just moved to Austin so I didn't have to drive back and forth from Killeen.
Yeah, probably better than going to El Paso, because I'm pretty sure you're not gonna find any El Negros there.
Yeah.
Going to El Paso.
Not in El Paso.
Yeah.
I'm actually moving to Houston soon.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hey,
that's a
the
black
perfect
place.
spot. That's a black place right there. We were just there.
Oh, we were just there.
Last
That's
month.
right. Yeah, we were there like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, well, March something.
which was technically last month because
month.
it's
April 1st.
yeah.
April
I mean,
Fool's.
we don't got to tell them that because who knows when this video will be released.
Totally.
But that's crazy. So Houston, got it. When are you planning to do that?
My lease is up in June. I'm moving in June.
Love it.
All
Awesome.
right.
Yeah, I feel like you go like Houston. One of my cousin, or his good friend, our friend, he just moved there, and from Chicago. So
Maybe you have to link them up.
Yeah, I have
Maybe they'll
family
link
and
you.
friends out there, college friends. So I'm ready to link up with my girls.
link up with the girls and do what?
Have a good time.
Tear it
Live
up.
life.
What?
We have no kids.
There you
What
go.
is a good time? What does that mean for the ladies? I see the ladies clustered outside. So when they hang out, I got a good dad joke. Y'all want to hear a good dad joke?
Yeah.
Why do girls only walk around in odd numbers like 3, 5, and 7?
Tell us.
Where are you getting your data from?
That's just how girls roll.
That's how girls.
In 3, 1, 3, 5s, and 7s.
I feel like it's kind of like a security thing. Like, honestly, like, you're with your girls. Like,
well,
it's
a joke. It's not like a real question. Yeah, she's about to get like statistics.
She's like, actually, I have spreadsheets. I ran the reports.
Right. Right. So the population. Exactly. No. Why do they roll around? Why do they roll around in 1s, 3, 5s, and 7s? Because they can't even. It's so stupid. I heard it the other day and I'm obsessed.
That's a good one.
It's hilarious. Okay, so you're linking up with your girls in Houston. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you like trying to actively find a man, or y'all just trying to like be ratchet and make terrible decisions, or what?
We're never ratchet. We're definitely a little bush ghetto, you know, a little bushy, a little ghetto.
Like it. Like it.
Nice.
No, not like intentionally. If we find someone or come across our path, cool. But just enjoy life, be better people, become successful, live it up with them. I don't know. I'm big on like living life, like travel, cause you only get one life, and some people like, oh, I gotta be at a certain standard or in a certain position to like travel and enjoy and sightsee and everything. And I'm like, baby, do it now, because you might not have tomorrow.
Yeah, you get caught up in the rat race, and you let the trappings of life kind of keep you from doing the things you love or doing the things you want to do, traveling, going out, whatever. And people definitely get trapped in that, I think.
Absolutely. So Francis, like, what's happening with the boyfriend? Or like, y'all getting married, or y'all gonna break up, or what's the plan, man? I gotta let the people know.
She said he's a good boyfriend.
Jeez, like, what the fuck?
Don't bring the B word in this.
Coming at me. No. Honestly, like, we are doing super great. This is honestly probably the best relationship I've been in for both of us, and we're like a well-oiled machine. It's crazy because we're both Scorpios, not like super big into astrology. But, like,
water
we're both
signs.
Scorpios, so I feel like it's either, you're good or you're bad, and it's like, we're good, so.
But you're definitely freaky.
Because
it's Scorpio.
Not gonna deny.
Yeah. My very first love was a Scorpio, and she was not freaky.
One end or the other, man.
She was not a freak?
No. Just like in her mind she was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like totally.
I don't think that stereotype holds.
No. Wait, you know a Scorpio?
Yeah, my wife.
She's a Scorpio?
Yeah, she's Scorpio.
Oh.
She's October.
When's she born?
Wait,
late October.
Wait,
October 29th.
October, what's your day?
November,
okay. All right.
Yeah, the November Scorpio. Oh, you on the cusp.
I'm like on the last day, yeah.
You like could have been a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Wow. The plot thickens.
When is his birthday?
His is
Rizzo, when's your
November.
Oh, his.
Are you both do you both subscribe to astrology at all, or you're like,
she
no,
actually
I'm not
writes
with that?
astrology.
She does?
Yeah,
No.
I'll have a PowerPoint for that too if you want.
Shantae, what about you? Are you into signs and all that stuff? Is that something that factors into the boys that you're checking out?
Yes and no. I'm not big on it. I have to go and Google it just to see if maybe we'll be compatible. But I still go off like vibes, energy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
They're wrong.
I'm a Gemini, and I don't really I'm not really into the astrology stuff, but I definitely think I'm a Gemini. Because, like, what they say a Gemini is, and you can attest.
I sent him, like, astrology stuff. I sent you something today.
I know, and I keep laughing at it.
She's like, I hate y'all. She hates Gemini.
You don't like Gemini? So she might not like
So
Tristan
she's
then?
definitely not going to like Tristan. There's
It
no way.
never went back.
Damn. So, like, so you do believe in it to an extent. If someone is just like, I'm a Gemini.
I said yes and no.
So imagine, like, you're on a date. Do you, like, get this information prior to the date? Or, like, you're on a date and then you guys are chatting and then everything is great, and then he's like, "Oh, my birthday's June 1st," and you're just like, "Ooh," do you just like get up and leave, or like how does that work?
Well, I don't really know until I have to like put in your birthday and see what your sign is.
Uh-huh.
I only know mine, and I don't even know the range for Libras. I just know I'm a Libra.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel that.
Okay. That's real. That's real. So like, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Houston, and I don't know what's going on with society right now, because I feel like nobody actually wants to be in a relationship. Like maybe just like white people want to be in relationships. I mean, what do you think, Francis? Like, what's going on?
Honestly, man, I don't know. I feel like with just the way that like the dating scene is like in today's like world, like I feel like people just aren't upfront in general as people, and like they want to beat around the bush, and you know it's all about like playing games and shit. And I'm like, I'm a very upfront, like straightforward person. Like I know what I want. I think it's just kind of like knowing yourself and knowing like, yes, I do want a relationship, because most people, I feel like they don't know what they want, and then they end up like taking down somebody with them because they don't know what they want. So it's like, I don't know, a lot of unfaithfulness, a lot of like untrustworthy people, you know, I don't know.
So you see that in the white community as well? I mean, I'm assuming you date white guys. I don't know what you do, but okay, yeah.
Just a preference, you know.
Sure, I got my preferences too.
I think all people are beautiful. You know what I mean? Like everyone has such great qualities, and everyone's so unique in their own way, you know. But just preference, you know.
You like that white chocolate, or you like that white peppermint?
White peppermint versus white chocolate?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody likes white chocolate.
What? White chocolate's so good, bro.
It sucks.
Stripper name, honestly. White peppermint.
It is. It is.
It's like it's my stripper name, actually.
Well, that's like the whole like Eminem. It's like a double entendre. It's like Marshall Mathers, but at the same time, it's like Eminem is like chocolate in the middle.
Together.
Yeah, it's the white chocolate. Yeah, it's the chocolate in the
Well,
I
think back to what you were saying, Francis, about, you know, kind of being self-assured and know what you want and looking for a mate. I think that...
Don't say black dudes don't know what they want.
No, I'm saying I think that some people may get intimidated by that. I know in like my own experience, I'm the same way. Like even like if it's not even dating, it's like just regular like work stuff or like meeting people out in the world. If you're like assured of who you are and like know what you want and stuff, I think some people are intimidated by that, and it can definitely like make it challenging, I think, for people in the dating world if you have that sort of personality for yourself to
I agree.
to be. I don't. What about you, Shontae? Are you similar in how you date? Are you like self-assured, you know what you want, you put it up front, or you kind of like want to see how things go first?
Well, first off, I'm going to disagree with Dimari because I think black people do want to date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of us probably don't, but I think they do, maybe more on the women's side than the males.
I agree with that.
At a certain age, we're ready, like, okay, it's time for me to sit down, have some kids, cook and clean, hustle, make some money, and just be happy with one person. Like, it's kind of tiring dating. Like, for me, once I get to texting one guy, and I've probably been texting a couple of guys, but if I start liking one more than the other, I just only text him until it probably don't works out. Because it's too much. Everybody want to see you, hang out, chit-chat. You might over there chilling with this one guy and another guy hitting you up. And for me, I do what I expect of a person. So if you're around me, don't be hitting up no chick. And if I'm around you, I'm not texting back or hitting up a guy. I very much know what I want. And I have learned to start to say that up front. Maybe not in the very beginning, sometimes in the very beginning. But yeah, because I'm tired of just being single. And sometimes you know if it's just going to be a hookup.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be something more.
Yeah. That's real. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. I feel like no one knows what's going on with relationships. Yeah. Fortunately, you have one. The white people got them. They have them right now.
Y'all do get married more than us.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's happening.
20.
It's happening across the board. So I officiated one wedding in life, and it was his, and it was a white wedding. It was great. It was awesome. It was my favorite wedding, truly. But so one of the things that, you know, people don't know, like we all met before, the three of us at least, and we were just kind of getting into some conversations. And one thing that I really admire about both of you was just like how outspoken you both were, and you had your opinions, and you were very like, you know, confident, right? I was just like, yo, this is just so great, but still like civil. And one of the things that I remember talking about that night that I definitely want to bring up is we were talking about when are you crossing the line between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation? At what point is it not okay? And I think it started with, like, we were talking about like a hairstyle or something, because like I'm looking at Shontae's hair, I'm feeling it. You know, I'm looking at your hair, it's green, I'm feeling it, right? It's a vibe. But like, could you put your hair in a bun like Shontae has hers right now? Is that okay?
Yeah,
that's okay.
I think that, you know, in my opinion, like hair is hair. Yes, there are certain styles that came from a certain culture, but in my opinion, I feel like hair's hair. You can style it however you want, you know.
So if you,
honestly,
go ahead.
This is like a Chinese bun.
So that's the thing, right? And that's one of the things that I've noticed just kind of watching this stuff is it seems like everyone else can get away with these things except white people. So like if I'm black and I appreciate, you know, a Chinese bun or something that you said, or I'm black and I like these Senegalese braids or something like that, Senegalese braids, I can get that. But then if the white girl like sees those braids or something in Barbados, like it's somehow cultural appropriation. So like what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely believe it doesn't matter. I'm like, for instance, hair is hair. Like, there are some communities in the black people in Africa who has blonde hair and blue eyes.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So we just can't say, oh, blonde hair is a white girl thing, or straight hair, or curly hair, because all races have either straight, curly, blonde, black, red, and hairstyles. It's just a hairstyle.
Yeah.
But I definitely do agree. White women do get penalized a lot more than any other race when it comes to women on a hairstyle. And honestly, I really kind of think some people care and some don't. And the ones who do care and make it a big deal, they're just probably trying to grasp something and take something where it can be ours, the black community, because so much has been taken away from us. And we don't get the recognition as also, because there is a lot of time in the white community for white women. They'll take something that we've been doing as little girls all our lives and go throw a bow on it, gentrify it, and want to act like they curated it. Like, no, pay homage.
Mm-hmm.
It's ours.
100.
But it's okay, you wear it, but don't try to own it.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah,
Francis, you agree with that?
I actually, so I'm a big student of history. I love history. Dimari knows this about me. And I went through this period in 2020 during
he had faux locks.
Well, no. So
he
during the
didn't. I'm just
pandemic, I was really into researching Viking culture, like back from Middle Ages, and I had no idea that hair was like such a part of that culture, because they're technically the indigenous people of that part of the world back then, and so their customs and stuff were pagan, and they were people that practiced with herbs and all different kinds of things that you would think that like tribes of Native Americans did and stuff. And so they wore hairstyles that were all different kinds. They they would grow their beards out, they would do braids, there would all kinds, like women would do fancy styles for their hair if they were going to a ceremony or something like that. And so I just find it interesting that we've kind of we've lost some of these other kind of cultures, or it is part of it. It's just not like the popular thing anymore. And the popular thing, in at least in America, it tends to be Black culture. And I think you're right. I think people kind of take from it and then they try to make it as like this is my thing or whatever, but instead it's, you know, give the respect, pay homage. But I do think there are other cultures out there all around the world that like come from, you know, do things with their hairs that are similar to other cultures, and it was always part of their culture, and this is part of their, and it's just, it overlaps. Those things overlap, and definitely there are spins and ways that each culture kind of makes it their own. But it's just some perspective that I learned when I was going through that research.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I mean, a lot of stuff is like super old, but you know, I mean,
Yeah.
the beginning of civilization is Black. Like, it's just, it is what it is, right? We didn't make the rules. It just is what it is. But what are your thoughts on, like, okay, so your hair texture is obviously different, Francis, than mine or Shontae's or whatever, and presumably different than Rizzo's, right? He's a little more curly. What do you say to like people who, like white people who, you know, maybe want to get like faux locks? Is that acceptable or no?
I mean, I feel like on a certain level I can't like speak on that because I don't have like y'all's kind of hairstyle or texture at all, and I have no idea how to even take care of it or even like what I would say on that because I don't ever want to like disrespect anybody on that type of level as well. But in my opinion, I think that again, hair is hair. Like if a white guy wants to do dreadlocks, go for it. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times like the people that are complaining and like talking shit, like it has actually nothing to do with that person at all. They're just trying to like stick up for somebody else. And it's like I feel like sometimes they're actually like making it more of an issue than it needs to be. You know, it's like, hey, let people just be people. Like, why do we always have to regulate everything? I feel like everything has to be in a certain like category. You know, like if you're not under this category, then you're weird or you're different or you know you're shoot off to the side basically. And it's like, why can't people just be people and do whatever the
And
fuck they
technically,
want?
we're
You know?
all weird. No one is
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hashtag we're all
Exactly.
weird.
But like, there's just so much like standard and like so much like labeling, I feel like. And it's like, oh, like if you're white you have to be doing these things, or if you're Black you have to be doing these things. And it's like a very like, you know, why can't people can be
Yeah,
people, you
no,
know? Like
totally
I don't
agree.
know.
So, like, I mean, one of the things that I'm always fascinated with, just in American culture, and you know, we have friends in other countries and stuff, and they have completely different perspectives, is what I've learned over time. But you know, we're obsessed with race here in America, obviously, and for obvious reasons, right? But you know, does the concept of like privilege? I think, you know, in Western society we already have privilege that's greater than a lot of other countries, especially developing countries. But like, what are your thoughts on like white privilege? Does it exist, Shontae?
Definitely. I honestly don't think it's ever going to go away. It's like socially constructed into them. Even, it doesn't matter how much some white people want to change that about themselves. It's just certain things that they do in life that is white supremacy. And sometimes I feel like you can tell someone and they will change your ways and try to educate their peers. But at times you get people it's like, well, this is who I am. I didn't mean to offend you, but I'm not gonna change.
Mm.
And it's just like, well, if you don't want to make the changes, we're gonna forever be where we at. Slavery wasn't that long ago, like about 200 years ago, and we're still dealing with the same thing. So it's just at a different magnitude, um, probably a little lesser, but technically it's the same. We're still in slavery. We just not being whipped and having to pick cotton. We're being picked over with jobs. We're being discriminated against with police officers. People clutch their purse if a black man or a black woman walk by. That you see the color of my skin, you intimidated, and I could be the sweetest person ever.
You are sweet.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I don't know.
I I feel like also like living in like where you and I grew up, like in Louisiana and Mississippi, like that's like Texas is the South, but like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi are like the deep South, and like I feel like growing up where we, at least where I did, like, you know, my grandparents were racist, you know what I mean, but they would never like show it. I could see it every now and then, but like my mom would always be like, look, love who you love, be with who you want to be with, be friends with who you want to be with, as long as they treat you right.
Yeah.
Like that's all that matters. So she taught me, you know, the right way, but like even that wasn't like a topic that was ever like hugely discussed, I feel like, because I don't know, I just understood that like, hey, look, you just got to be nice to everybody. And like, but seeing the way that people acted towards other people in Louisiana, I feel like, and it's just like, even though I feel like it's primarily like a African American culture down there, you still see racism like out the ass, especially in like older generations. I feel like too, like I don't know, it's just absolutely mind blowing because you go over. I went over to like Arizona a few times. I feel like up north and over in the west, it's completely different. You know, like just the way that people view like different cultures and like I don't know. I feel like there's more of a like okay, like this has never really happened over in these parts
because
of the
it's not in
U.S.
their
You know what I mean? So
soul.
it's never been like a
Like slavery, discrimination, yeah, a little bit, but like racism is not really like deep rooted in their soul. That's a South thing. So it's not
right,
something
right.
they actually participated in much. They just heard about it or seen it. And some of them turned away because it was too much or they were too scared, but they probably still didn't agree with it. So I think that's why like the west, northern, eastern side, they're kind of like that when you go to those places because it's like everybody cool with everybody. It's
What
like peace.
I disagree.
I disagree. It's like I've
Literally.
only been
No.
completely discriminated against and like literally been called nigger by like 20 white people on the north side of Chicago, chanting nigger to me. Okay.
Oh my god.
So the thing is, like, they just display racism in a different way. In fact, Dr. Martin Luther King is quoted saying, "You need to go to Chicago." He said, "The South needs to go to Chicago to learn true racism."
Yeah.
Right?
Well, also I always think about that Malcolm X speech.
Oh, it's so good.
The white liberal
You know, I
versus
got it on-
the,
you know,
the
I got it on my
racist
phone.
South person.
It's 603 words. I
Yeah.
could read it right now.
Not.
But y'all are more in your face.
Well, he talks
The
about.
South, they hide behind the hand.
So we say it's the exact opposite. Is the way we look at it is he analogizes it to
A wolf and a fox.
A wolf and a fox. So
Yeah.
in the South, they're wolves. They show their teeth. When you see a wolf, you know what time it is.
And you know what you're dealing with.
You know what you're dealing with. But a fox is more cunning, and they show their teeth, and it kind of looks like a smile. But they will discriminate against you in different ways. So in the North, we'll definitely see it's more. I would say, especially like in New York, it's more like socioeconomic, so that can hit a lot of different groups of people.
And it becomes a class thing too.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
very class. But what I want to get back to before, I could tell you all types of stories of being called nigger because that's the favorite word that people have for me, including my homies. I don't know what's up with that.
Excuse me?
No, not you, the black ones.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they call me nigger.
He's like, don't get me shit.
Right? No, never.
It's like-
No. Rizzo would never. I mean, he wants to. I'm sure every white person wants to. I know they do it when they rapping their lyrics at home by themselves. But
I'm like, do it with yourself.
yeah, do it with yourself, bro. Because I mean, who's gonna listen to niggas in Paris and not say nigga? Like, come on, man. Like, but so you mentioned you agreed that like white privilege exists, Francis. So like, how do you? What part of your life do you feel that you have a greater privilege for being white?
You know, I don't know, man. I feel like I've worked the way I see it, and it's probably not true, but the way I see it is like I've always worked extremely hard for what I want. Like I've had a job since I was 14. Like I've worked my entire life. Like I'm a very honest, respectable person, and I feel like that has gotten me to where I'm at. But on a retrospect, somebody else might be like, nah, it's because you're white, and it's like, I feel like it probably both has like, it both of those things happen in my life, I guess, or a part of it. But I don't know, like even bartending, like I've gotten called racist more times bartending than I have ever in my entire life by white people and
Whoa.
by like you know, every other type of person, because you know I'm cutting them off because they're too drunk, and it's like that's what they're throwing at me. They're like, they don't have anything else to say except for, oh well, you're racist, you're telling me to leave because you don't like XYZ race. And it's like, nah, dude, like you're just fucked up. Like, why are you pulling the race card right now? Like that just goes to show like who you are as a person, because you think that you can pull that card because you're black and you can just say I'm being racist towards you because you know whatever. And it's like, nah, dude, like you can't just pull the race card. You're now making it be about race.
Right.
Because
So is that like
it was
is
never about race before, you know? It was just, you know, you're drunk.
so is that just like a bullying mechanism, you feel?
I feel like, yeah, sometimes, because it's like, hey, like nobody was even talking about race until you brought it up, and it's like, well, now it's about race because like you're projecting me as a white female to be racist towards you, and it's like, yo, like I literally just served a black guy right next to you, and me and him, he just racked up a $200 tab with me because he thinks that I'm dope, and he's just been chilling with me. You know, like it really is like about what you want to do with your race and how you perceive yourself. You know, like I could totally be like that Karen that's like, you know what, like fuck everybody, like I can get whatever I want because I'm white, like I have the privilege. But I'm not like that. I've never once thought that in my life, you know, like I don't know, I feel like it can go both ways.
So you acknowledge, just I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. You acknowledge that there is a certain privilege just based on skin tone or whatever, but you choose not to exercise that privilege.
Right. I've never once had that thought that like I'm where I'm at right now because I'm white, because I've gotten some sort of advantage. Like there's been times where I've been like, you know, told no or knocked down, like whether it be in a job or like I haven't gotten what I thought that I wanted. But obviously that was for, you know, I had bigger and better things coming on the horizon. But I would feel like honestly, yeah, like I've had friends talk to me about, you know, them not getting certain positions at work. You know, like Shontae was mentioning earlier, like how that's kind of being like used against like certain cultures and stuff like that. Just because like this person has a personal vendetta against this, they're now using it in the workplace and you know in other areas just because they can. And it's like it's fucked up, you know. But yes, I
Yeah.
do acknowledge that there is privilege within any race, whether it be, you know, me being a white person and saying I'm going to utilize this to my advantage, or being a black person or Mexican or, you know, whoever, and using it to their advantage as saying, hey, you're being racist towards me, even though they're not, you know, like you're just using that because you can.
So one thing I noticed that you said, Shontae, you had mentioned white supremacy. So do you like? I feel like a lot of people conflate those terms, supremacy and privilege. So if you can just kind of maybe give us like your definition, if you do see a difference, if not, whatever, just tell us what you think privilege is versus supremacy.
I think they kind of intertwine.
Okay.
But at the same time, privilege is kind of like, I feel like the white culture sometimes is unaware of their privilege. Like they not even realizing how much privilege they have and that it's being given to them because it is something they just always grew up with. And when it comes to like white supremacy, I feel like that's more someone is really trying to put their foot down blankly, letting you know I'm not here for black culture, Asian culture, because at one point in time, if you wasn't white, you was a minority. The Asians, the Irishmen, they all had to work to a certain level to even have some type of equalness with the white man, because the white man always thought he was better than everyone
Even against
in
his.
America anyway.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you said there because it's like
She said
whites
Irish,
discriminated against
Yeah.
whites. So, you know, because, you know, whites that were in America during that time period, saw themselves as different than Italians and Irish and
Polish,
any of those ethnicities that came from Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody was criminals. Like, you got thrown over here because you was exiled from your own country.
Ooh.
Like, you the worst of the worst, actually.
I feel like I definitely have experienced like white supremacy, like from working. Like there'll be like groups that will come in of like 5 or 6 like friends. I feel like, but they're these white guys, and they're like the type of white guy. Yeah, the type of guy that you would definitely be like, yo, he's fucking like on some shit. Like immediately from seeing him, because like just the way that they're dressed, the way that they're acting, they're feeling like they're better than everybody. And like I remember there was this group that came in to work one time, and we were slammed. I think I was like one of the only people there, me and one other person, and they were I saw them walk up to the bar. They were staying there for maybe a minute, 2 minutes before somebody came over, before I went over there and was like, hey, like sorry about that or whatever. And they're like, man, like, can we get some service around here? Like automatically, like coming off as like they deserve better than everybody else in this bar. And just like making comments like, oh, well, is Joe Biden gonna come in here and get everybody? Like, like just making stupid comments about like shit like that. And I'm like, bro, you are definitely that type of person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's definitely white supremacy and then white privilege.
So
again,
Francis,
they go intertwine, like Shontae said as well. They do go intertwine, but there is definitely a difference for sure.
So what I want to know is like, how do you distinguish? Because you're born into your skin, you have no choice, right? We were all just born into it, right? And it seems to me, I'm really trying to wrap my head around this, because I see that a lot of people just kind of project their insecurities onto society.
Yeah.
So let's say, I'm coming in, I'm not white, right? But I'm pretty confident. I mean, I'm pretty confident. So like, how do you draw the line between, okay, this person's just confident that just so happens to be in white skin, or this guy's so confident he just so happens to be in Asian skin or black skin, or whatever it is.
It depends on like what you're talking about and like what your conversation is going towards, because yeah, exactly. Like that dude could have been like, oh yeah, hey, like, sorry, I know you guys are busy. Like, I just wanted to get some attention over here. That's a confident way of saying something like, hey, like, I respect you. I know I see what's going on. Versus him being like, thinking that he deserves more and better service than anybody else there. Like, I think that you could definitely, like, if you can read a room, and if you can, like, I've been dealing with people for like 10 years in service industry. I've seen every single type of person that there is. Like, you could think, and so I feel like I'm very good at reading people, and it's just like the way that you come off to me within the first 30 seconds is how I know how you're going to be. Like, I'm very good at reading a room. So I feel like if you're good at reading a room, you can definitely distinguish like being confident versus being cocky. And being like thinking that you're better than somebody else.
And even if you are cocky, right? But I'm trying to get at the point of maybe like elitist or elitism, right? So if I'm, I've heard stories, I'm not going to say some names because maybe who knows what will happen in life. But I've heard stories of people, famous athletes, famous entertainers, black, right? They're not nice people.
Yeah.
So is it just elitism or?
Like, I mean, I'll use a reference as like, the bar again. Like, there's a bar right down the street from where I work, and their whole like spiel is, it's like they're open Fridays and Saturdays. Like you go in, get bottle service, get the whole experience. It's a party bar, like it's a cool bar or whatever. But like, there will be people that will go in there and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a $60 bottle of Tito's in a section, and be surrounded by girls and guys that don't really give a fuck about them. But in today's society, if you have money and if you have like that reputation, quote unquote, then you've made it. But in reality, if you're driving a fucking Ferrari to a job that you hate, is it really success?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
like,
a
and I
great.
feel like people go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's a.
It's okay, you can
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying that, like, I don't know. I feel like people are just very like they're about the wrong things, you know, like it's not about money and it's not about cars and it's not about you being able to spend buying this girl that you met, you know, like all her drinks for the night and then her going home and you never seeing her again. And then you being like, oh yeah, I have all this money, but like you're putting it on credit cards. You're putting
Right.
it on, you know, this is not really your money that you're spending right now. You're just doing this to flaunt and make yourself, it's all about the way you treat people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what,
So that's what
regardless of
makes
their race.
me, which makes me, go back to the point of, is it truly white privilege, or is it just the person that's in front of you because they have their own insecurities that they're projecting, and this is how they cope with it by being, hey, I make X amount of dollars, therefore this, justifies me being a douche, whether I'm black, I'm white, I'm Hispanic, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or is it I'm behaving this way simply because I know I can because I'm white? How do you distinguish
I
those
think there's
two?
both. It's just there's both. You know what I
And
mean? Like
and
there's
I want to
both.
let Shontae get a second here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, because I want to hear you. I love how passionate you are.
My
Yeah.
girl, Francis.
I know we gotta love Francis. Shout out to Francis. We need like the sound machine right now. Like, dum, dum, dum. Yeah, exactly. She's going nuts.
So, I honestly feel like it can become in a gray area, but at the same time, you can tell when someone is confident. You can also distinguish when someone is just cocky or they just feel like they're better than you because they have more than you, whatever that perspective in their point of view is. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of times, like when it comes to like privilege, that is saying, oh, there's two people. Sometimes privilege don't even deal with race.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say there are two people. Oh, well, this person father plays golf with the owner. This person father does not. But the person father who does not has way more experience, way more education than the other person. But the other person got the job because they had that privilege of their father knowing the owner.
Mm-hmm.
As far as not dealing with race. And when you dealing with race, you can think about it with a job again. You got me, you got Francis. I probably have way more. It's a scenario. I'm not trying to sound better than you. I might have way more experience than Francis, a higher GPA, and also more education. Francis probably only have the education. Probably don't even have no type of experience. But Francis might get that job though, just because she's white. You
Okay.
know, not necessarily on who she know or what she know, but just the based off she meet the minimum criteria, and they'll rather have a white person there than a black or Asian or Hispanic, whatever you want to say. And to
Mm.
distinguish if we're just out in a social scene, it's kind of hard because everybody have all types of different
Mm-hmm.
personalities. That's any race. You can catch a black person that comes in confident, cocky, and think they deserve certain things because they think they make XYZ type of money. And so they're gonna come in like, oh, you need to serve me, or like how someone did with Francis. Oh, you racist just because he couldn't get his way,
Right.
something that he used to of getting,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. I think it's kind of hard to tell when you in like a social scene because I don't think privilege deal with like personality.
Mm.
It deals with like the opportunities you have against
Mm.
others. You can come from a two-parent household. That's a
Mm-hmm.
privilege. You can come from two successful parents. That's a privilege. You come from parents who have an Even just you, a single mother with education, but you have another household who's a single mother with no education, or you have a father in your life, or you don't.
Mm.
It's like life things that you have in life that put you at a higher level, or that put you ahead of the race,
Right.
and everybody else got to catch up. Like with
So is that
white
so is
people.
that unfair, or is that just, I mean, because it seems like there's a, saying like we all enter the forest, at a different point, right? We're all going to take different paths, but the goal is to get to the other side, and depending on where you enter the forest, you're going to experience different things. So it's not necessarily like equality. Basically, to me, seems like impossible, right? Because you can't have equality in outcome, but we can create a system where maybe there's equality in opportunity. What do you say to that?
I feel like it's not really fair unless unless your race is used against you, because at the end of the day they can't help what they're born into,
Right.
and you can't help that either, because you get some people who born into great families and legacies and are druggies,
Oh yeah.
like they strung
Too
out.
much pressure.
And
It's
you
a
get
lot of
some
pressure. Yeah,
people.
it's almost like a whole nother different form of slavery,
Yeah.
honestly, because you're born into it and you have to deal with it. So, you just actually brought up something that was interesting, Shontae, which is, and I'm gonna ask you, Francis, like, what was your upbringing like? Like, did you grow up in a 2-parent household? What was the structure like?
Honestly, like I feel like I grew up with like a very privileged like household, I guess. Like my mom was a single mom, but we lived on like an acre of land, and we had like my house and then like my grandparents' house like on the same property. So like when my mom would go to work, like my grandparents would take care of me. So like I never had to go to school like until I was like in kindergarten. Like there was just a lot of shit that I felt like I realized over the past couple of years that it's like, damn, like pretty much everybody like kind of steering away from like the race thing, I guess, is like mental health. Like a lot of people have like mental health problems stemming from their child.
You muted Phoenix. Yeah.
Have like anxiety because I had a good childhood growing up, and I feel like the way that I was structured, the saying it takes a village to raise a kid, which is true. Like it was me and my family and my mom, and everybody just takes care of everybody. And like we had a bunch of kids growing up too, so I feel like my cousins and stuff. So we were always being watched after by family members, and like we never had to go, to a daycare or anything, which I feel like that's a privilege in itself, which
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have. Like my boyfriend, he has a lot of, or not a lot, but like he suffered from mental health. He has depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
from me not really having that, because he did grow up in like a crazy chaotic household growing
Mm.
up. So like to see both me and him to where we're at now in life is just crazy, considering that he's doing so well, and he came from such a broken home growing up, that now he's doing like super well with his mental health and everything like that. And me, who has never had to deal with anything like that before, and understanding, like that side of things as well. I just think it's crazy, like how people grow up. It really stems like how they're going to be as adults,
Yeah, absolutely. So
and
would you
things that they
say
have to
like
unlearn and stuff.
that um being privileged is almost like a burden in a sense, where you were kind of sheltered? Would you agree that maybe you were sheltered from the realities of life, or no?
I don't think that I was sheltered from anything. If anything, like I was definitely like my family was very upfront about everything. Like
Mm.
there was never like a beating around the bush if I had a question about something. Like it was very much like, hey, look, this is what life is. This is what you're going to experience, and that's just the fact of it. These are the tools that you're going to have to like successfully like get through life. Like knowledge is power. Like if you teach your kids about drugs and alcohol and all of the bad things in life, I feel like they're less likely to go out and be crazy and like, like, oh hey, kids are gonna try no matter what. They're gonna try alcohol and they're gonna try drugs at some point in their life. I feel like education is so important, because if you're sheltering your kids from everything, like just because I didn't have like a crazy upbringing, that doesn't mean that my experience is less than somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know, like it's crazy looking at like everybody's individuality and like what they take from their experiences growing up, you know, like how they use that to be a better person or to change their life around or whatever.
Yeah, awesome. So Shontae, what was your upbringing like? Like, did you grow up in a 2-parent household, or what was that? So,
So my mother was a single mom until she met my stepfather. And so we grew up in a two-parent household,
how
but
old were you when they got together?
I was 8 when they first started dating.
Okay, and you have siblings?
Yes, it was me and my brother by my father, and then my two younger brother by my stepdad.
Okay.
Um, I would say my father was there more so like a financial aspect
Mm.
instead of like more of an emotional and psychological way.
Mm.
So I feel like it's a lot of things I had to learn on my own because no one was there to actually teach me the way. Like my mom did the best she can do on what she know as a woman, but with me being older, I definitely expected a lot more from my stepfather than what I received, and I thought I received a lot because he spoiled me. I'm his little princess. But I think it takes more than just money to take care of a family or to raise a child. And also, you can have the crappiest home or the best home. You are going to go through what you put yourself through. Some people can come out very successful in the worst situation, and some can come out, I don't know, very bad off. And they could have been put in the best situation. So I feel like at the end of the day, especially when we become adults, it's all about the choices you made. Do you want to succeed? Do you want to be better, do better? Or do you just want to do what everybody else did?
Speaking
Like,
of doing everything that everybody else did, if you want to do something unique, you know what you need to do? What do you need to do, Brandon?
Called Jennifer Catherine Photography.
You need to call Jennifer Catherine Photography. Go to
Well, it's so funny. She was actually perfectly segueing into our ad break. So we're doing an ad break here, guys, just for a second. But we, when life's moments come at you fast,
they come at you
know?
fast. You got to capture them.
You got weddings.
You got weddings.
You got babies.
You do.
You got engagements.
You got events.
All kinds of stuff. Events, yes. And you're going to need a photographer to capture those moments.
You're going to need a good one.
Yes.
Not just what everyone else is doing, a good
the
one.
best.
Yeah. And because we have women on the podcast, let's keep that.
Woman-owned business.
Come on.
Mother.
Woo.
She's been doing it all along.
Jennifer Catherine Photography.
And you can check her out on Instagram as well, Jennifer Catherine.
And that's with a C in Catherine. I'm sorry. Go back. What were you saying, Shontae?
Your upbringing matters, but it's not the most important thing. It's all about your own self-determination, basically.
That's good. What do you say to that, Francis?
I totally agree with that 100%. Like, you can't victimize yourself your entire life because of
Oh, we lost her.
We lost her. We'll have to get her back in. But one thing that I wanted to do, I feel like the way that just cut out was like her.
Yeah, I think it had to be an internet connection or something.
Power or something. But one thing that we that I've been wanting to talk about and kind of shift gears a little bit was to talk a little bit more about just like spirituality and religion, right? Growing up in the South, and obviously you seem to be doing well for yourself, made some good decisions along the way. What's your take on religion or spirituality? Do you connect to anything?
Yes. I believe in God, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. They're all one. I'm apostolic.
What's apostolic?
It's basically kind of like a Pentecostal, but we're not as strict where you gotta wear long skirts, long sleeves, can't cut your hair, It's more so come as you are and just follow by God rules, mainly His 10 Commandments, and try to be the best person you can be. Um, just be a good person all around, obey God and His commandments.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. So we're trying to get her back in. Not sure what happened, but let's see. This is. Let's see. It's she's saying she's having trouble logging back in here, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know much about apostolic versus any of this stuff. So, like, who brought you into religion?
My family is very religious. Like, my mother entire side of the family are all religious. Of course, the cousins, the young people, we are in. We believe in the Lord. We know what's right and wrong and how we was brought up and how we interpret the Bible for ourselves, other than just what our parents and pastor tell us. But at the same time, we make mistakes. We backslide. So I really don't talk about religion much because I'm a strong believer in what I believe in.
Yeah.
But I'm also not a hypocrite. Like, I'm not living every day by what the Lord is telling me to live by. Like, I make my mistakes, but I strive. I do the best I can do for me. And I just hope the Lord knows my heart.
Hey, I think
the
Lord certainly knows your heart. What we want to do right now is take a quick break.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stop it and then just come back in and,
with Francis.
Yep. Yeah. So just
be right back.
Be right back. Cool. So so she was telling us about this apostolic stuff. We didn't know anything about it. I think I know a little bit more. Some people can wear stuff. Some people can't wear stuff. But everybody's believing in the Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. Am I correct with that, Shontae?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I actually attended an apostolic church in high school. The church
you told me that.
I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with how it goes.
What happened, bro?
Just I guess it's all kind of rooted in that like Baptist Pentecostal kind of tradition. So it's the pastor just like the reason why I went when I was in high school was because of the oratory and the music and everything was just so awesome.
Dude,
and being a part of that energy was amazing. And I was, I believed in that whole thing as well. So, but yeah, you got like the people are getting the Holy Ghost and that whole thing. Am I right, Shontae? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Passing out.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. My favorite part of church is definitely praise and worship.
I do remember though at that church there was this white lady who's in the choir and she was in like the back row.
Yeah.
And this lady was like thrash headbanging like a metal band. It was hilarious, man. Every week, this lady was just going to town like she was the bassist in the Slayer or something.
Yeah,
it was
but
hilarious.
For Jesus, though.
Yeah, for Jesus.
Yeah, no, I love it. So,
personal shout.
Yeah,
I think that's true. But I think that's the best part about it. It's like you literally are turning up for Jesus, though. Like it's so cool. But like that's my problem where I couldn't like get into some of these other churches because like praise and worship is whack. Like they're in there like, bro, like no, I don't want to hear that, bro. Where the Fred Hammond at, bro? You know what I'm saying? Put some jams on. So I can't get. I've been trying to find a church. Give me some tambourines, man. Where the praise dancers at, bro? I've been trying to get into some stuff in Austin. I done check some out online.
That's Catholic.
Bro.
That's right. That's the Catholic.
They
church.
Doing a lot of that stuff in a lot of these places, bro. I'm not here for it. No disrespect to anybody out there. I'm just not here for it.
The denomination is pretty good. They have nice praise, worship.
They do, but then sometimes the pastor be whack. Like, cause it's the whole setup. It's like give me turned up. Now give me some good word. You know what I mean? And I
feed me soul.
Feed me. And I ain't seen it in Austin, man. So pastors out there, y'all trying to come kill us market. black people, we need more pastors and barbers, okay?
There's tons of barbers downtown. You just don't want to come down here.
Nah, we need some black barbers. They know what I'm talking about.
There's
So,
black barbers down here.
and they charging $60, $70. Bro, we not, what?
All right,
Are
whatever.
you crazy?
Back to the show.
We've been on the show. We ain't never left. So
Back to the guests.
Oh, back to the guests. Okay, yeah, that's true. So, so friend, what's your experience like? Spirituality, God? Do you have a connection to anything?
So I grew up in the Methodist Church, and I feel like it's definitely the most chill religion. I feel like.
What's a Methodist church? What's that?
It's just like, I don't know. I felt like the message with me growing up was just like, treat others as you would want to be treated. Just be a good person, kind of thing. Like they would never like shove it. I never felt like they were shoving it down my
evangelical.
Throat.
It wasn't evangelical.
Exactly. Yeah. So I grew up in the church. Went to church every Sunday. Went to Sunday school. Like all through high school, like me and my church, we went on like mission trips all over the U.S.
Wow.
We would go to Florida every other year with this convention called Big Stuff, which like this whole like they rent out an entire like hotel on the beach, and it's for like thousands of like kids coming across the U.S. To like just do praise and worship, like it's basically like a huge fucking concert. And like we would, give money and donate and everything like that. And like we would help out, like we would, with the donations that we would make every year, we would like help and build like 80 water wells in Africa. Oh, wow. And we had like the Daraja Children's Choir come in and like sing like straight up from Africa. Like it was literally the coolest thing ever. And like we always went on like little small mission trips around. And like I felt like I was very like, blessed and humbled to be able to like grow up in that type of environment. But I never like truly believed in like, I believe that there is something out there, obviously, but I don't know necessarily if it is like, God or, Allah or, whatever. I never really had that connection even growing up. I they would be like, oh, you're talking to God, like you're doing this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't like feel that. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. Whereas y'all are feeling this or saying that you guys are feeling this. Like, I just don't understand. And I was always questioning myself. And like, I was always like, why do I not feel these types of things or hear God like people are saying? And then I feel like now it's like, I am more of like, okay, well, in my version, it's more of like, I use manifestation a lot. I call it manifestation, like I feel like if I put my energy into something, it normally like happens. Or, like I, just stupid shit like, oh, hey, I'm going to get the first parking spot, like the closest to the building, just like putting it out there into the universe that you want good things to happen and it'll happen, I feel like that's my version of, talking to God, it's the manifesting thing, so I feel like I am so open to like all kinds of different beliefs and whatever anybody has to tell me, because in reality, like none of us really know what's out there or like how we got here or anything like that. So it's like, everything's up in the air. It's like the game telephone. Like the Bible, in my opinion, is kind of like the game telephone. Like one person says something and then they say it to somebody else and then they say it to somebody else. And it's a book of morals through like how to just be a good person, like throughout time and that time frame, written by many people, so who's to say that, Jesus walking on water wasn't like a crazy freeze that happened and it froze the lake over, and he was walking on water, or, people are seeing these like a burning bush, but they could have actually, it could have been like a, bush that has DMT on it. Yep. Like, and doing like mushrooms, people taking mushrooms and then not knowing that they're hallucinogenic, like there's so many things that are just kind of like, I never really understood in the Bible. And I'm always, open to people telling me what they believe, because it's like, everybody's got different beliefs, which is super cool. And you can learn from any of them,
Yes. Are you involved in anything at this point? I mean, it seems like earlier you enjoyed church for the social aspects and,
Right. No, honestly, no, not really. But I'm always, if somebody were to invite me to their church, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll go with you. I'm never like,
even if it's like what if it's like the Satanic church? You going to that one too?
Dude, honestly though, like I know it sounds crazy, but like if you do research on like the Satanic like church, like
I've done
it's actually not like what people make it out to be. You're not like worshiping Satan, like it's it's just a different belief system, and honestly it's a good belief system. It's just treating people a good way, like the right way. Like there's Satanists, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like, I feel like the cults or whatever, like they're
Mm-hmm.
completely different, and like
Yeah.
the religion aspect of that is different as well, you know.
Yeah.
um
Do what
I
thou
don't know.
wilt. That's the saying. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Rizzo?
Yeah, this is Damari and I love this topic because we
Obviously,
could
we
go
started a
on
whole
for
podcast
hours
about
and
it.
hours
Yeah.
about it. We did on the first episode. We talked a little bit about
Yep.
some of this stuff, and it's always fascinating to hear where people are coming from and their perspective on it. It just it's informative, and it helps shape. Gives me more information to shape
Yeah,
my
you
own
just
worldview.
converted him into a Satanist at this point. So good job.
Hell yeah.
Uh, I mean, Shantae, what do you think about that? Like, being apostolic and growing up and believing in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Hearing what Francis had to say.
Um, I believe her when it comes to manifestation. You definitely have to put out good energy. That's karma. Good vibes. If you want to do something, you gotta work hard. And like one of the biggest thing
Unless you're
in
white, right? Then you don't have to.
they
Damn.
gotta work hard
Oh,
too.
okay, I
They
just
just
want to make sure,
get
man.
a small upper hand here and
Hey,
there.
I'm the hardest working white woman you probably will ever meet.
And that might be true. I done met some pretty hard working white people.
I know one. I'm
Hell
sitting
yeah.
next to one right now. He complains all the time, but he's getting busy though.
He'll get her done though. Come on.
Yeah, he will.
But yeah, I feel like in my religion one of the biggest thing is um human will.
Mm,
So like the Lord, he's not forcing you to believe in him. He wants you to come for yourself. And that's
mm-hmm,
why, like, when Francis was talking about the burning bush, the Lord walking on water, you are supposed to question those things. Because if you don't, you'll never learn, you'll never
mm,
understand.
mm-hmm,
And so it would be crazy for someone not to question something they never seen for themselves. But
mm-hmm,
also, one of the other biggest thing is faith. You
mm,
know,
mm,
it's about your faith. Do you have
mm,
faith enough to believe in what was written before our time?
mm,
So would you say though that like, somebody is like, oh, like they just landed a dope job, they've been working really hard, and they're like, oh, thank you, Lord, thank you, God, for this. Like, you put me in this position. And it's like, the way I see it is like, God didn't do that for you. You did that for yourself. You were the one that got up every day
mm.
to go and put in that work. And yes, He might have been there.
But he
You
opened
might
that
have been
door.
confiding.
He opened that door for you. It's not when people say thank you, Lord, they're not saying he just gave it to him because without action, he can't help you. If you read the Bible, the Lord is telling you you basically gotta work for it too.
Yeah.
And if you
Faith
work
faith is
for it and
dead
you got
without work.
the knowledge, the skill, he's gonna make sure a door open for
Mm,
you so that
mm,
you can get what you don't work for.
Doing any sort of work or action to like put forth that effort, He's not going to open up a door for you, and He's not going to, be there for you in that aspect, right? Is that
Basically, unless
yeah.
that is his plan for you, and he will force you to do certain things. He will have you go through a lot of things in your life till he get you where he wants you to be.
Mm,
His plan
so?
for you.
What do you think about like, it being God's plan for somebody to, die from like a gruesome like, cancer, or take away one of your loved ones? Like, how can that be in God's plan? Like, that's one thing that I have never understood. And I guess you could say it's like the, you're learning from each experience that happens. But that's just one thing that I'm just like, people are just so okay with the fact that like it was in His plan, but like it wasn't in His plan. It wasn't in my plan for like my whole family to get murdered by this fucking serial killer. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just very hard for me to grasp that concept.
You
yeah.
also have to think about, for me, like there was a time where everything was perfect, Adam and Eve. they didn't have consciousness basically or knowledge. They didn't even realize that they were naked, running around naked with lions, tigers, elephants, and type of thing. But once Adam ate the apple of knowledge, that turned everything upside down to where knowledge became about, sin became about. That was the first sin that was ever committed. Because the Lord didn't tell Eve not to eat. He told her, but Eve wasn't the main subject. Eve wasn't basically like the head of the
Mm-hmm.
household. Adam was. He was the leader. And he was the main one that wasn't supposed to disobey God, which he did. And now everybody is born in a world of sin. And now people have to make a choice for themselves on how they want to live. And death and life is natural. It's what's going to come and it's what's going to be there for the world we live in. There's sicknesses, there's diseases. Everybody can't live and everybody can't die. But you can choose how you want to live to die.
Mm.
And it's your
Wow.
choice to make that choice on how you want to go. It's not it's not a happy moment. I done lost my auntie, but at the same time, it was her time to go. When she left or whoever leave, I feel like they have already completed their purpose in this world. They done did what they needed to do.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that for sure. There's this story by Andy Weir. It's called The Egg. And I read it, and it's basically about how this guy basically pops up and he's sitting next to God, and there's multiple doors in front of him, and he's like, "What? Where am I at? Like, what's happening?" And God's like, "You've asked me this every time that you've come back here." And he's like, "What do you mean? I've never been here before. Like, I just died in a car accident. Like, what about my family? What about this?" And he's like, "I could tell you're a good guy because you're asking about your family, you know." And he's like, "Well, what's going to happen now?" And he's like, "I mean, you're just gonna do this over and over again because you're shedding a new skin like every time you come here. Like, the universe is you create your own world. Everything that happens is because of you. And you're gonna say this every time you come back here. Like, you're just basically a fetus right now in the world. That's, you know, every time you die, you're gonna come back and you're gonna be reborn into something better and better and better." And I thought that that was like a crazy, you know, like analogy, I guess. Like, you are, every single person in the world is a different version of yourself at a different version in time, or at a different time in life, you know. So all of y'all are just me in different points in time. I don't know. It's fucking crazy just the way that
Mm.
like that
That's
he
a
wrote that out.
They kind of sound like, I think, Hinduism or Buddhism.
Yep, that's
They
what I was
Yeah.
just
believe
about to
in
say.
Yeah.
like,
In the reincarnation,
yeah.
Yeah.
I low key feel
Actually, I
that
was
though,
trying.
because like my roommate, one of my old roommates, like, she said that like her sister one night, she like woke up and her sister was in her closet, like rummaging through her closet, like speaking German, like perfect German, and was like, "Where are my ration cards? Like, where is the?" And you know, like, she was like somebody from the Holocaust.
Mm.
And it's like, how can you? I feel like I'm an old soul. You know, I feel like I've lived a couple of lives, you know. Like, I don't know, I think that that's just crazy to think about, that everybody has lived multiple lives probably, you know. Like, I'm going to be reborn into something better in my next life, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny just listening to both of you talk, and I'm seeing a lot of. I kind of always just, we like to create unity and diversity here, right? And I'm focused always on the Venn diagram, the center point, right, where we all overlap. And I'm listening, and I feel like you guys are almost saying very similar
Yep.
things, just in a
Yeah.
different way, because it's like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but from Shontae, just listening to her, it sounds like it's more like a co-creative thing that you have in conjunction with God. Like, He's not going to give it to you, right? You still have to do the work because you have free will because of this original sin that she mentioned, right? and you're looking at it from the perspective of, hey, I got to go out here and make things happen because of free will. You know, even when we talked earlier in this conversation about, you know, choices, you guys both agreed that the choices are pretty much going to dictate, your future and your outcome. I think the only thing, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is with Shontae, she's kind of looking at it from the standpoint of, well, you don't control if you wake up tomorrow. You don't control if you get to drive down I-35 and make it home safely. A power that's greater than you controls that. But obviously, you want to do the best you can. You want to be sober. You want to drive. You want to be safe and be vigilant on the road and be cautious. But at any given moment, you are potentially being protected if you're walking that path that you're supposed to be on, or it could be taken away from you. And then at the same time, if you didn't, create that the outcome that you were supposed to fulfill in that specific body, then maybe you just do it again. I don't know. Am I reading in that too much, or what do y'all think?
I think you kind of put it on point, but I feel like it don't matter with God if you living for Him or not. If it's your
Right.
time to go, it's your time to go. And a lot of time, most Christians, when it's their time to go, they're at peace because they understand, like, I did what I need to do in this world, and I believe that my time is up. And it's basically like it is what it is. Like, no one wants to die, no one is trying to die, but a lot of times when you are at that moment and it's just like you're at peace.
Yeah.
Definitely like got like life was not as scary when I was more comfortable and okay with dying. Like I remember there was one year where like I was so like engulfed in like the religious aspect of my life that like every night I would pray that like I wouldn't go to hell. Like I would be like, please, like I was scared, like literally, like just from religion, like making me feel like, if you don't do these things, then you're gonna go to hell or you're gonna do this, and it's like I don't want to live in fear, like based off of like something that's supposed to be like teaching me, and like I think that that was a huge thing when I realized that like everything is okay, like you're gonna be just fine. And I feel like when I tripped on acid for the first time, like
Big fan.
years ago, literally like that was like almost like that was my day of awakening. Like I kind of before that, the week before I went to this music festival, and I had never tripped on acid before. My mama passed away, who like raised me basically, and then one of my other friends had passed away like the day before.
Wow.
And so this was the week before the festival, and so like went back home, did the whole funeral thing, and was really like fucked up from that. And went to the festival. I wasn't sure how it was gonna be, and then like my camp neighbors, who I'm still great friends with today, were like, hey, do you guys want to trip with us on Sunday? And I was like, yeah, for sure. But I was nervous as fuck, and they gave me one tab, literally best night of my life. Like it during that time, I was kind of like I wasn't really like thinking about like how it affected me, because it was the first time tripping. But when I got home, like the next day, I was literally like a fucking breath. Like my lungs had been replaced with new lungs. I was breathing new air. Like my mindset was just completely fucking changed on everything. Like for no reason. Like nothing other than me tripping on acid had that effect.
Yeah.
And
Shontae,
it
have you
kind of
ever?
made
Oh, sorry.
it kind of made me no, you're fine. It kind of made me realize that like if my brain can do this type of thing, our brains are definitely not working at the capacity that they can be. And which means that like everything else is just kind of like fake, and like we're actually all connected to everything. Like if you look at a tree leaf and your palm, it's literally like the same patterns. Like if you look, like tree branches sometimes look like DNA, like we are literally connected to everything. And just I know it sounds fucking cliche as shit, but it's so true. I really feel like people should try some form of psychedelic in their life to be able to be like
You can't.
let go.
Yeah, I was going to say it becoming from also similar experience. I would say it's so funny trying to articulate psychedelic experiences to people because you hear the same tropes and cliches, and until you actually cross the plane and are there, there's a different way of understanding that you just can't put into words and describe. And the best way to describe it that I've been able to describe it is it's more real than reality.
Yeah. I feel like
No,
you hit it on the head.
100%.
I feel the same
100%.
way about like say people who, experience like the Holy Spirit or
Yeah.
like the love of Jesus Christ, and people are like, "Oh, you're a Jesus freak or something." And you're like, "I can't explain it, bro."
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things, and then when you tap in, you're tapped in.
Yeah.
Shontae, have you ever tried any psychedelics?
No, I have not.
Would
I
you be
feel
open to it? I mean, Francis just said everyone should try. Would you do it?
probably not acid. I'm not really sure.
Mushrooms or something?
Maybe
Jaded.
mushroom, maybe, but I don't know. I'm so scared of doing anything other than marijuana, and
Mhm.
I don't even do marijuana anymore because I quit and I started back, and I'm just way too high. Like
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm the
so
same way, Shontae.
so I'm just like, yeah, anything that's gonna take me higher than that, I'm good because I might
It's
like
not the
freak out.
It's not even close. I
it's
don't
not the same, but it can like I've definitely smoked weed to the point where I've had psychedelic trips, but it's not the same exact kind of psychedelic trip as taking the classic psychedelics, and
Sorry.
the classic psychedelics are definitely completely, I would say, a completely different thing.
think. Whole another level of life.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say, Francis? We can't hear you.
you're muted.
Wherever
I
you
think.
moved to, you went somewhere else, and we can't hear you now. Yeah, I don't know. We want to get this in and try to wrap up, but I don't know. We can't hear you. But
She so
this has been a
awesome.
lot of fun.
Yeah, this has
been a great conversation.
it was so great talking to you, ladies.
Yeah, it was. But before we go, definitely have to ask because it's just like the thing that's going on in society. Like, I mean, what's y'all take on this slap? The slap heard across the world.
Oh my
I was
God.
gonna bring it up earlier too.
So my thing is, he was wrong, he was right. I get both sides. At the end of the day, you're gonna protect your wife and your kids no matter what. But at the same time, wrong place, like in front of everybody like that. And then we at the Oscar, all these white folks and shit. They all looking at us like them animals. Look at them attacking each other. So it's just like, oh Lord.
Ties it all together.
All together. So wait, what do you think, Francis? We can't hear you.
That's so weird.
All right, now you get. Yeah, we're in there. Yeah.
Hold on.
We can hear you now.
I think it's your AirPods.
Yeah, it could be the AirPods. Bluetooth situation was
She's
going in and out.
Yeah.
Darn.
We
She's
lost her
gone.
again.
Well, we
Well,
lost
it's
her.
all right.
We will never know what she thinks. But hey, this was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. 100%.
Did you have fun, Shontae?
I did. This was
Awesome.
like my first time doing something like this. So
Awesome. Well, welcome
it
to the
broke my
Side by Side.
virginity.
Hey, there we go. Welcome to the Side by Side podcast. Any closing remarks, man?
Yeah. Look forward to more. We're gonna have more guests on, and if you're interested in becoming a guest on the show and want to come on, definitely reach out to us. You can find us, me and Dimari, on Instagram under
Judah Clan
and Rizzo Feels. We also have a Instagram page for our media company, which Side by Side is a part of, and that is Elusis Media Group. And you can find that on Instagram at Elusis, ELEUSIS Media GRP.
Yeah,
And
we'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. We also launched our website for the podcast, so you can catch all the episodes as they come out. we're eventually hoping to, start a like Patreon or something like that where you can donate to the podcast. But TBD on that.
She's back.
Oh, she's
Look
back.
at this.
Perfect.
Look, she's back. So
Can you hear me?
we can
Yes.
hear you, and we just want to get this last thing, and we want to close it
Okay.
out. So what's your take on the Will Smith, Matt?
Honestly, like, I mean, I feel like it was a trauma response. I feel like he literally is like, I don't know, like him and Jada were at like the red table and like that like they're on YouTube or whatever, and like she basically just outright said like why she cheated on him and like basically making it like his fault, like that he couldn't like please her sexually and all this shit. And I'm like, bro,
But
like I
technically,
feel
she
like
didn't cheat. They got open marriage. He got
yeah,
his women too.
Yeah.
yeah,
And he probably has his men too.
situation, but I think there is a way to defend your woman without being physically assaultive to anybody. I don't think that you should ever like end result should not be violence unless like somebody puts their hands on you first, and obviously not at the fucking Oscars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could talk to the man like behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Like there's a way to go about it, and especially if y'all are like homies, like or y'all like know each other and shit. Like come on, like there's a better way to go about that.
I think it
Cooler
was
heads
definitely
prevail.
trauma. He got fed up with everyone talking and
For sure. And it's like he doesn't want to look stupid, but at the same time it's like, oh, I don't know, like
Yeah.
slap this.
No, hurt people. It's just that simple.
Great
so he
song.
was definitely by CeeLo Green.
There's a million songs.
Okay,
that
I don't know
line,
which one you're
but
talking about. Yeah, of course, but no, hurt people, and we don't condone violence on the Side by Side podcast. But if somebody slap you, better slap them back. All right.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on the show today, y'all. We really appreciate it.
Really did.
We're Side by Side.
Until we're side by side next time.
Bye bye.